This is Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Telecom Reseller. And I'm very pleased to have with us today Sylvia Acevedo, who's the newly appointed board member of Quark.ai. Sylvia, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure, and it's an honor to be part of the Quark.ai board.
Well, I'm so glad you were able to come by and do this special podcast with us. We also have with us our friend Prosenjit Sen, who is the CEO and co-founder of Quark.ai. Prosenjit, thank you for joining us again.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks for the invitation. And Sylvia, it's been an honor to work with you and look forward to building the business together
Well,
at Quark.ai.
this is a very special podcast. We were just talking about, well, just before our podcast today, I really don't get to often talk to a rocket scientist in our podcast series, a rocket scientist at NASA that had developed algorithms for missions to the sun. But there's more. Your background, your life has been truly impressive. White House, Girl Scouts, truly amazing. Lots of interesting stories. Leadership in Silicon Valley, leadership in public policy, leadership in the development of science. So I have to ask as a beginning, what brings you to Quark.ai?
It's kind of the same thing that I discovered when I was CEO of the Girl Scouts. We're living, when Girl Scouts was first founded, it was moving from the agrarian age to the industrial age. And when I took over, it's how do we move and get girls the skills to go from the industrial age to the digital age? And so I really focused on making sure that they had the skills to be able to make an impact as the world is being recreated line by line, code by code. And I'm really proud of the fact that we developed 146 new badges during my time, and 126 of them were focused on technology. But what I realized is that so many girls and so many women are not in those fields or not represented in large enough numbers in those fields that are literally recreating the world by every algorithm, every line. And I really went out of my way to try to get girls to have that skill in this STEM area. What I'm really proud of is in my last full year, over 1 million STEM badges were earned, and over 180,000 of them were in cybersecurity. And so now then, when you're thinking about AI, it is moving from the industrial age to the digital age. AI is bringing it home, and it is bringing it home at a very, very rapid speed. And so being involved in Quark and the way that Prosenjit has developed the company and really thought about it, being very thoughtful, not just about all the great advantages, but how can we help folks in the transition is also really something that drew me to Quark.ai.
Well, let's talk about that transition because I think it's top of mind for so many people. The emergence of AI and the needs of human beings. And in studying your background, the thing that just sort of popped up again and again is your passion for human development, your involvement in Head Start being a very important part of that. And I want to understand a little bit better about how you might connect your leadership now at Quark.ai with that theme of human development.
When you think about the impact of AI, there's a couple of areas that come in. I'll speak a little bit more about customer service, but first I'm going to start with when you think about human development, education is key. And when you're thinking about education, typically the way it's been done is the sage is on the stage and the students more passively listen and engage. Well, with AI and generative AI, you can turn that and flip the script. Basically, students now can really own the learning process at a speed that is customized to them. And then the teacher's role is really the expert, the mentor, the guide to really crystallize the learning for the student. And I really see that if we are thoughtful about how it's implemented, it is really dramatically beneficial and definitely helps with human development.
So, Sylvia, in sticking with this theme, as you know, right now Hollywood's on strike, and AI is actually one of the issues, and it hasn't even started really impacting Hollywood yet. So I think it's just sort of one example of how AI is sort of getting a bad rap. There's obviously a lot of fear, a lot of worry, a lot of just, gee, I don't know what's going to happen with this AI. And, you're now part of an important AI company. Where do you see that going? What's brought you on this team, and where do you see how that all going?
Well, thank you for that question. In essence, what really drew me to AI was its incredible potential to make a positive impact on our world. and my belief that we can navigate its challenges to ensure that the benefits are realized and really be aware and work to minimize the negative outcomes. And when you think about one of the great benefits of AI, especially one that Quark.ai is focused on, is efficiency and productivity and customer service. We've all had that time when we needed to get an issue resolved and called customer service many times and gotten different answers. And what I love about Quark.ai is it really makes the customer support process more accurate and efficient, while freeing up the customer support reps to focus on the aspects of the work that is kind of the most challenging. And to be fair, as consumers, we love the benefits of lower costs because of greater productivity and efficiencies of AI. But you know what? We need to have a plan for ourselves and for our companies of how we're training and preparing others for those. I had mentioned, the move from the agrarian age to the industrial age. Well, right now the move in terms of what AI is doing, it's really bringing home the impact of the digital age at warp speed. And from the beginning, Prasenjit and I have spoken about, the need to think about how we're transitioning folks, how we're making sure that we're not just thinking about the efficiencies and the productivity of the workflow and the processes, but also, what are the fair transition plans so that people can be trained on the new jobs that are being created by AI. And, when I think about the concerns of those in Hollywood and others, it's important to remember, like with any, tech development, it's how we use that tool. And I think that's so important. How do we use this tool of AI? Not just focus on the utopian, but realize there are some dystopian aspects of it
Right.
by dystopian characters, right? So you've got to be thinking, yes, there's a tremendous benefits, but what are the costs and the consequences as well? And it is our responsibility. And I love that from the beginning, the way Prasenjit has led this company is to really think about not just the development, but the application of AI into our different customers and how we could not just help them achieve benefits in terms of efficiency and productivity, but also thinking about how do we think about retraining their workforce for more advanced skills or different processes that are going to be implemented by AI.
So, Prasenjit, you guys have been working on Quark.ai for a number of years now. What does Sylvia's appointment mean for the company? What are you signaling about Quark.ai?
So, to me, I was very excited to be able to, bring Sylvia on board because I think we are at a point in the company where we can leverage her expertise not only to scale the company, but to take the company in the right direction. So let me kind of qualify that. I mean, 4 years ago, I teamed up with my CTO, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar, to start this company. AI, or rather, you know, large language models, which is the underlying technology behind generative AI, was at its inception. It had come out of the Google Brain project in 2017. And, both me and Sanjeev are serial entrepreneurs, but I was very excited to start this venture with him because I saw that how a guy being an entrepreneur, but even, not only an entrepreneur, but also a part of the scientific community, you know, how Sanjeev brought two sides of the thinking together, which is innovation, you have to do it right. At the same time, you have to keep an eye on the business. So, you know, so that's how we started. And, we built something very powerful over the last 4 years. We were fortunate to be working with some, very special customers. And where we find ourselves today is that the work we did for the 4 years has now become a unique differentiator in a market where there are very few viable solutions. While everybody talks about generative AI, you know, 99% of the market uses generative AI with GPT-4, which is extremely expensive. So in the end, very few of these people will be actually able to demonstrate ROI. So today we are at the very beginning of the hype cycle. That's when it'll go into disillusionment. Or right. So we are fortunate that the technology we built today is turning out to be fundamentally transformative because what we developed is an IP where, given a query, we could pick up exact sections of from documents which have the answer. As a result, we are able to use GPT 3.5, which is where the prompt or the input is very limited, which you cannot do unless you have this kind of precise technology. And moving forward, we go into this more exciting world of local LLMs, which is where you run an entire generative AI in a box. And believe it or not, I've been talking to customers who are saying, hey, we provide solutions for the mining industry. Can I put a box in there for my field technicians? How do you do that? We have the solution because for local LLM, the prompt size is 2,000 tokens, even half of that. So we have built something very special. I am very, very excited to be, first of all, working with Sylvia, not just on strategy, because, she has this wealth of experience. I am a technologist and entrepreneur. That matched with her skill set, I think will open up the opportunity and take us to the next level, right? So that's very, very exciting. There's one more thing which Sylvia and I often talk about, which is, it is very easy for people to talk about the negative aspects of Gen AI because, fear is good for press. I'm sorry to say that, but that's true. But when having done this for years and years, I can tell you that if you look at the positive aspects, there are many. So one thing is, for example, we are talking about the automotive industry. As electric vehicles come in, it's the same high school graduate, high school technicians who are going to be providing the support. But look at the knowledge gap. A typical car today from Tesla has 80 Qualcomm chips. So there is a gap. And if we can bridge that gap, now instead of laying off people, General Motors and Ford and Toyota will be able to hire the same people, except make them more productive and be able to handle the vehicles of tomorrow, right? And now extrapolate it to the next level. Maybe when you go to the moon, with Sylvia as being a rocket scientist, right? I'm sure you can relate to it. Look at this. Maybe the technology will take us to that level where regular people can do sophisticated jobs. Why not look at it that way? I can also tell you, before this, I was in a computer vision venture. And I understand the fear in Hollywood today. But think of it another way. Let's say I have a vision. I am not able to communicate it. I can't paint a picture. But if with generative AI, if I can describe it right, I can actually have it come to life. There's a lot of value to that. So technology needs to be used responsibly, and it's a job of regulators to make sure that it is used responsibly. If we do not do that, the problem is somewhere else. But I would say don't blame the technology. Let us make use of it to add value to society. And that's why I'm excited to be working with Sylvia because, of all the work she has done, I'm also a big champion and a big believer that STEM should be not just restrictive, but it should be available to everybody. Only then the society becomes better. So Sylvia, it's an honor. I'm really excited, and I think we'll make it happen.
Yeah, I'm
You know,
very
when
excited from your vision from the very beginning. So thank you.
when I hear both of you speak, it sounds like you feel that AI has the potential to be a liberator of human potential, as opposed to, a threat to jobs and so on.
Yes, absolutely. I can also tell you one more thing. At every stage, you know, when new technology has come out, there has been fear. You talked about the press. I know when internet came, there was major backlash that time too, right? But what has it done? It has just made our lives better. You get cheaper flight tickets, right? Now everybody can travel, everybody can do. So I think 5 years from now, we'll be singing a different song and the society will benefit from this. And I think it's the job of people like Sylvia and me and other people who are in the trade to be able to make that happen.
Yes, I think it's something that AI is not being done to us. We are the ones that developed it, and we are the ones that can put the guardrails. And we have to be thoughtful about how we're implementing it as well. So realizing how do we get the productivity and the efficiencies and the positive benefits, and also being aware that, how do we plan for those unintended consequences and help people with getting the skills that they need so that they can fully benefit and participate in the AI workforce of the future.
So, Sylvia, it sounds to me like part of what your vision for Quark.ai is responsibility as a watchword for Quark and also for the whole AI industry.
What I love about Quark.ai that I from the very beginning is that it has traceability of all of its answers. Traceability means accountability, right? So it's
Yes.
not like, the company is shrugging off, oh, I don't know, that was hallucinated from somewhere else. No, I love that the software was developed in a way that you can trace every answer. So there's accountability. And I think that in today's age, when you don't know where that information is coming from, we can tell you this is exactly where it came from.
It's a proper, the first time I heard about it, it's like proper scholarship, right? You actually have the footnotes, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, is so with that in mind, what is, going forward, we're entering now the final part of this year, and we have many years ahead of us. What's our vision now for Quark.ai?
So the vision is this, over the last 4 years, we focused on building the machine right. So we could provide, top tier generative AI solutions, with high accuracy, 100% traceability, minimal hallucination at an affordable cost and something which is secure. So enterprises are not afraid of their IP, right? So, hence local LLM and all the stuff that I'm excited about. So we focused on the technology. Today we are at a stage where, believe it or not, Fortune 500 companies, Japanese conglomerates, everybody's coming to us because, they have seen the promise, but they have not been able to realize the value. There is a Japanese conglomerate that is talking about licensing our technology and taking it worldwide. It's very exciting, but it's also a bit scary for me because we are still a small company. But the reason they're doing it is because three of their business units tried Gen AI with GPT-4 and none of them worked. So again, where I see us is we are getting to an inflection point where we'll be ready to scale with strategic partners, you know, and in areas where the value is tangible and aligned with some of our objectives, right? Like the automotive sector, right? Another example. There's another market called managed services, where it's a $600 billion market, and today the support for that is pretty much manual. If we can provide generative AI there, the value suddenly gets, goes to the next level. So those are areas where, as we steer the company in the right direction, I look forward to working very closely with Sylvia on that, right? So we can strategically build the business and at the same time keep an eye on, not only the value to our customers but value to society.
And he's presented said it so brilliantly, and just slightly adding to what he really clearly laid out is that a lot of companies are discovering that, why do they that talent for AI is really expensive and hard to find, and why do they have to recreate or try to create a solution that already exists? And I think AI can bring them really fast productivity, efficiency, in a way that their customer data is kept confidential, secure, and they can trace it, which is really a very big asset and advantage for the company.
Well, Sylvia, I really want to thank you for joining us today. Prosenjit, I want to again thank you for arranging this podcast. This has been really interesting. Again, congratulations, Sylvia, on your appointment. I'm looking forward to the next time we get together to do one of these very special podcasts where we're seeing the state of Quark.ai and also the state of the AI industry as a whole. I think you guys had very interesting insights for our audience. For now, I want to thank you again, and I'll look forward to the next time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Sylvia.